Rock Point, we have a need in our city. We are becoming more and more aware of the devastation and consequences of generational poverty, broken homes, and drug addictions, and most notably, we see children paying the price. In this county alone, hundreds of kids are displaced from their homes with little to no warning. With little understanding of what is happening, they are separated from their parent or parents. We as a church need to respond in this area. We need to respond to seek the welfare of our city. In Jeremiah 29, the nation of Israel has been exiled into a foreign land and conquered by the foreign nations. And God's word to the nation tells them this: seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile, and pray to the Lord on its behalf. For in its welfare you will find your welfare. This initially was written to the nation of Israel who has been exiled to another land. And the Lord tells them, don't continue to mourn your current situation, but instead begin to live in the context that you have been placed. For the church in 2021, we need to hear this message the same way. In a world that is so broken, where we see so much evil and trauma, where we see marriages ending and greed and hatred and sexual immorality, we start to become hopeless. We are tempted to kind of just crawl into the holes and live out our exiled life of Christianity and shield ourselves from all the pain out there. And one of the most painful things to witness in the brokenness of this world is that inevitably kids pay the price.
Again, a foster parent is taking some kids that oftentimes have experienced a great deal of trauma. And I think it can be challenging for a majority of us to understand what some of these children have experienced, whether it be physical abuse or neglect or even sexual abuse.
The most difficult part is watching a child go through trauma, watching a child struggle and not understand why. Them feeling alone at 3, 4, 5, 6, it's really difficult trying to teach them how to explore their feelings and understand that they're in a safe place. That's the hardest part.
And just from their past experiences, for them to be in the foster care system, they have had to have traumatic experiences. And sometimes even since we are so low on foster families, that they get placed in a foster family that is not suitable for them either.
One of the biggest things I think that the church needs to know is over half of the children who are placed in foster care that are Montgomery County residents have to be placed outside of Montgomery County, because we simply do not have the foster homes here in Montgomery County. So right now, the local DCS office has children placed in Lake County, Allen County, Vanderburgh County, basically 3 of the 4 corners of the state. And so these kids who are Montgomery County residents are placed over 2 hours from Montgomery County, and logistics such as doing visits and other things are extremely challenging when you're 2 hours from home. And then put that into the fact that these kids then also, a lot of them were school age and attending school. So not only were they removed from their home, they were removed from their friends, they were removed from their school, they were removed maybe from their extracurricular activity that they were participating in through their school. So anything that we can do that would help these children to be able to stay closer to home, to be able to stay in Montgomery County, and to make our Montgomery County foster parents feel supported would be a blessing for these kids.
Rock Point Church, seeking the welfare of our city, recognizes the need for more homes to be opened up to these vulnerable children for foster care and adoption. This ministry, FAM ministry, exists to both encourage existing foster families in our community to continue in this work and to generate a greater awareness of the need in our community.
It makes you want to step up. It makes you want to be, like for me, that mother hen, like that wants to protect them. And just hearing that the church should rise up. We should have these kids in our Christian homes and raising them in a Christian environment where they know that Jesus loves them. It definitely gets you in there and shows you what it's like. And to have a group surround you, a Christian group surround you that love Jesus, knows that they're going to pray for you, they're going to send you meals, they're going to check up on you, just as that support is just amazing to have. And I know that our church community, or our community in general, needs that. And what better way than the church to step up and be that for all the foster families around there.
the church has a wonderful opportunity to help. And who better than people who know who Christ is and who can share that hope with children, because they don't have it. They don't know. And just thinking about walking through those things as an adult is hard, and not knowing Christ. But when you are blessed with the opportunity to explain that and share that with a child and watch them grab onto it, and they know that everything will be okay because they love Jesus.
I was excited to be a part of the FAM ministry because of our past adoption and me being a social worker and seeing that side of it. And I was really excited to engage other people in that ministry to help these foster families who desperately need the support they need.
When you really see what's happening, it gets very difficult, and you ask yourself questions like, can I really do this? Like, this is so hard. Like, it shouldn't be this hard, and it shouldn't, but it shouldn't be that hard for them. They're children. It's hard for us. Think of how much more difficult it is for them.
So as a foster parent, that can be a challenge too. Maybe you've successfully raised many other children, but have you raised children that have had the trauma that these children have had? So it's oftentimes giving these foster parents the support and giving them some time away too, and giving them a break. And whether that's just to give them a night that they don't have to cook, for a meal can be provided, or whether that's a night that they can just go out on a date night and they know that the kids are going to be safe with someone else, or just being able to do yard work or something for them. There's just a lot of things that the church can do to help out, whether it be a foster parent or whether it be a relative who's serving in that role.
And so just encouraging Christian families to step up, or just all families in general, to be foster parents, and then for us as a community to rally around them and saying that you got this. Showing, even maybe possibly showing this family the way to Jesus too. It's just an excellent gospel sharing ministry that you can do on top of filling physical needs and emotional needs.
I was very reluctant. I thought it was a great program. It was good, but I think at the beginning I thought, well, I don't need it because we have a very strong family support. So I thought, that's nice, and they can do that. And I remember the first meal we got, and the subsequent meals for that matter. But I remember thinking, if I would just trust God's got this covered and stop putting my nosy little nose in there, because it was the biggest blessing. I didn't even realize, when you're in the thick of things and things are busy, and you don't even realize what taking some of that off would feel like. And I think another big blessing that I didn't anticipate with this group was building friendships. Just that, Rock Point's big, it's a big church, everybody knows that, but to walk in and someone, making that contact that knows what you're going through, and asking questions about it and supporting you. And that's something I didn't anticipate. Like I said in the beginning, I thought, well, it's fine, they can do that, it's sweet, but we're good. Well, I think I learned through it, we weren't so good, and we needed them. So we're so thankful for that ministry. It's just so supportive.
Yeah, I agree about the fellowship, and just making those contacts and just having that support and being able to talk with somebody. It's just been such a blessing.
It has been such a blessing to see these care communities through the ministry of FAM come around these foster families, and to bless them and to care for them, to feed them, to pray for them. And it encourages these foster families to continue to know that they have support, because without it, it's very difficult, a very lonely place for these foster families.
What we discovered from the state standpoint is our foster parents that have this type of support system with them would last longer. Placements would stay longer, and these foster parents would feel supported. We even got to the point that when a relative would take a child into their care, they knew about the ministry, and they would ask, hey, can I get signed up for that? Because they knew that was something that could support them.
The average foster family lasts 1 year. It is undoubtedly one of the most difficult tasks we are called to as Christians, and yet it is still one that we're called to. The vision is for Rock Point Church and other churches in our community to create and sustain enough foster homes that no child in our county has to uproot and leave their hometown or have to leave their own school system. And even more importantly, that every child is placed in another home is safely placed into a home where there's a deep love for Jesus. We want to wrap vulnerable kids in gospel-loving families and wrap those families into a gospel-loving church family. Let's seek the welfare of Crawfordsville and Montgomery County. Pray to the Lord on its behalf, praying for the health of the family units in our community and for the church to rise up and physically meet the greatest needs in it.
There's so much that you need to know going in. It's not cut and dry. It's hard. These kids come from hard places, and like Jesus comes to us in our hard places. That's what we need to do for them. We have to be willing to go into that and help them and take their hand. How do you break the cycle? You break the cycle by getting in the middle of it. You break it open by not giving up, by going in, by being with them. You show them what love is. You show them what the love of Christ is in their life and what that looks like and how they can also give that to others.
I have got to see through the last 16 years the different children that my agency has impacted, and how some of those children have had to be removed from their parents' care and placed into foster homes or relative homes, and the impact that a positive foster parent can have on these kids and how they can bring safety to them, and just the challenges that come from being a foster parent.
This ministry it's amazing, and the people are amazing, but at the end of the day, I want it to all be about Jesus, following him, and just pointing it towards him. And I think that's what it's about. The people that serve us, the people that love us, just that motivation is just that it points towards God, points towards Jesus. And that's what we want ultimately it to be about. We don't want to get anything. We just want it to be about him and about him only. So I think that's what motivates me, is that it's just about him.
I would tail onto that to agree. For me, I think making it all about God, and we've chosen to do that through little people, and just to see them absorb that and to change, like I had said earlier, the kids that we've had, just to see the confidence and to know that, even though your parents here on earth may have struggled or may have made mistakes, to know that the ultimate person that you should be getting your strength, your affirmation, your love, the person who upholds you and who you report to is the Almighty Father. And a lot of people, especially adults and little kids, get that mixed up. We think that we are, getting standards of society or even our parents. And for them, that gives them such a strength to know that my Father, my ultimate Father, is in heaven. And that's who will never fail me. Even though the shoulders here were not able to bear the things that these little people had to endure, God sends the right people, and he's with you no matter what. And once they get that and they feel it in their soul, it gives them a power and it gives them strength. And they know they're loved, and they know that God sent Will and I and our family to support them through whatever this looks like in this season. So that keeps me going. I mean, just to see God's work, who wouldn't want to, right?
I have a heart for Jesus, and I really want these kids to see that heart for Jesus too, and how Jesus is going to be their protector, even though they may not have had anyone in their life to be their protector. So to encourage those men and women who are the foster parents, that they can do this too. They can be the loving parent that maybe these foster kids haven't had is something special. If it just takes a community to keep a family fostering, I am all for that. It barely takes anything out of my day to do this, and I just am so thankful that our church has decided to take on this ministry and to really show our community that we really need the help and the support around. Everyone may not be called to foster, but everyone is called to at least support and help out.
And you can have a role too in some of these families' lives. Some of these families, they just need someone to be there for them. They don't have their informal supports either, like maybe you and I do. And oftentimes, I look at, only by the grace of God did I not walk into those paths. So we can provide that support for these families, for these children, and I think we really can make a difference in our community.
For the month of December, this will be highlighted at the top of our Next Steps page. Go to myrpchurch.org/next steps to learn more, and let's go get to work.